Welcome to the Paperclip podcast, presented by BSDA. We have one clear goal: help you to become bigger. I'm your host, Brett Stone, and this is season 2, episode 13. We are powering through episodes right now. And I want to say thank you to the Paperclip podcast for tuning in. You're appreciated, whether this is your first episode or your, I don't know, like 20th or 30th probably by now. And today it is my absolute pleasure to introduce Fran Peterson from Easyway. Fran, how are you going?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. Now, I'm sure people are going to wonder this all throughout the interview, so we should probably get this out of the way in the beginning. Where is your accent from?
I'm originally from Canada, so I came to Australia about 13 years ago now, and been happy ever since, really.
That's it'll be one of those things. I just know people are going to listen to you talk throughout this interview, and they're going to say you're an American, and then you're going to get offended. So
no,
you know.
no offense, no.
So first question is always my favorite. What was your very first job, and what do you think is something that you learned from it?
Oh, on the books or?
That's a really common answer too. It can be either.
Look, I started as a babysitter. I guess that was my very first job. And then I graduated to a janitor.
Okay.
at a scale shack in my town where I grew up, where they used to weigh the logging trucks and things like that. And what did I learn from those jobs? Well, I learned that you start from the bottom and you work your way up, and no job is beneath me, really. So it doesn't bother me to get in there and get my hands dirty and just get the job done. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so tell us more about Easyway.
Well, Easyway is an easy, adaptable solution to add protein to your daily diet. So.
Okay. And why is that important for us?
Protein's important to build muscle, to maintain muscle, to lose weight, to feel full, to nourish the body. Protein is one of the most important things you could have in your body.
And that's why we see images of people that go to the gym eating broccoli and steamed chicken breasts and this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Is that enough? So it's enough for you to get that?
You don't want to waste what you're doing at the gym by not replenishing your body. When you have enough protein, it feeds the muscle so that it can grow better. You feel fuller for longer. And then you're not reaching for those extra little snacks that you think you might want, for quick sources of energy. So you can burn fat at a resting rate better when you have more protein within your system. So, yeah.
Okay, interesting. And why are you so passionate about it?
Once I knew the power of protein and what it can actually do for the body, it's helped me immensely. I didn't start off looking this way. I had to work for it. I was 20 odd kilos heavier than what I am now before I knew what protein could do for me. And when I have it in the right amounts, how it can nourish my growth, So from personal experience, really, it's a no-brainer for me once I've done all my research and, put it to the test, really. So, yeah.
And maybe tell us a bit more about that personal journey. Like, where did you start, and at what point did you kind of, have that moment of realization about protein and like the importance, and sort of how have you been able to bring it into your diet or your routine?
Well, I'm a busy mom of two,
Mhm.
and it was when my daughter was about 2.5 that I'd had enough of being tired and overwhelmed and going to the gym and not seeing results, and just really fallen into that trap of putting everybody else's needs before my own. So I'd kind of had enough of having enough and just went, nah, that's it. I'm now gonna focus on my health and my fitness because I'm a better person for it. So I'm a happier, more energized person when I can really fulfill those needs. So, through my own research and ingestion of a lot of other products, is where really the need for Easy Way came about. It is, yeah, I don't know how many tubs of cookies and cream or chocolate or all these other flavors that I was going through and wasting, and I thought there's got to be a better solution. There has to be something that I can incorporate within my own diet without feeling chalky or lumpy or half coagulated sort of goop going in. And there's got to be something more. I really love baking and cooking and being creative in the kitchen. So to say that I'm stuck with 1 kilo of cookies and cream, that's like cutting me off at my feet. I don't know. It's suffocating. So I was looking for an adaptable solution to really help me, and not just be that protein shake, that's nourishing and things like that. So, we came up with the idea of, a one size fits all sort of solution. And that's what Easy Way is. So we call our tub Base Way, and it really is the base of whatever you're doing. It's an unflavored protein isolate and concentrate. So they absorb at different rates within the system so that it feeds your body quick, and it also then the concentrate absorbs a little bit slower, so it kind of pulls you through the next couple of hours, so you're not craving any foods. And I guess the next really big difference for Easy Way is being that it's unflavored, we sell the flavors separately. So that time when you do want your little chocolate snack, you can have chocolate. If you're wanting coffee but you don't want the caffeine that's related with coffee, you can have a Cuban coffee and you just chuck that in. Or that time when you're baking savory muffins and you want to beef it up with some protein, you can just chuck the Base Way in there, and that snack now becomes more of a meal, so you're feeling fuller for longer again. But going back to its adaptability, I wanted something that was adaptable, and that I didn't always just get stuck. So being a busy mom and just not really having the luxury of time, I needed something easy. Therefore, Easy Way came around. So that's all.
No, that's great. And I mean, I've known you for a while, and despite the conversations that we've had about Easy Way in the past, I didn't know some of that about it. About how my personal experience with things like protein shakes has been around. It's literally like a flavor. You just choose a flavor, and that's how it works. But knowing that yours is different in that you can just use, hopefully I get it right, the Base Way, and you can incorporate that in things like cooking or other things, but then you can also create like a smoothie or a shake with it. And then I imagine you could probably combine flavors even as well. So you could, if you want to do like coffee and chocolate or something and have like a mocha, I guess you could do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it really is just adaptable. You can do anything with it. I guess another real point of difference that I got to mention, it's got carb blockers in it. So going back to being a busy mom and not really, putting your kids' needs first. it's real easy to reach for carb-rich snacks, which give you that quick hit of energy. So I guess I wanted something that everybody could use at every level of fitness. I really do understand that not everybody wants to compete with bodybuilding like I do. I get that. That's not, everyone's dream body or goal. Well, that's great. We all have different goals. Our stages are different. But I wanted something to help people within their own plan so that they didn't have to restrict their eating to really have the full effect of it. Carb blockers that we utilize is a byproduct of a white kidney bean. And what it does is when you eat a carb-rich food and you don't then use up that energy from the carbohydrates, it actually helps those excess carbohydrates go through your system so they don't end up in your fat stores. So that is, by far the biggest point of difference I have against my competitors. And it is so helpful for everybody and anybody who is looking to lose weight and to who don't want to count the calories and the macros and everything that goes involved into a stage weight or that kind of thing. So yeah, it's it really is an all-inclusive product at every level and any level. So,
and you obviously, for those that don't know, you do compete in competitions, and you've certainly had your share of medals and success as well, even in the short time that you've been doing it, which is great. And one thing that I think is important to point out is that when you started your journey, you weren't thinking about medals and winning competitions.
No, it was, I had to set a goal, and I guess everything that I've learned about weight loss and being overweight myself is you have to have a goal first up. That goal for me, and doing a lot of personal growth and development and things like that, it has to scare you. That's been my biggest set it high and go for it. Like, winning was never my goal. I wanted to just get on the stage. I just wanted a goal to keep me going on the days when I didn't feel motivated or I didn't want to do it, or, I didn't get sleep and, all those other little reasons. I didn't want them to stop me. So I had to really set the bar and really go. So, look, I've competed twice now. I did place, yes. But I learned. That was the best thing about it, was I learned so much throughout that process, and that carries over into other aspects of life as well. So it started out, okay, I want to lose 5 kilos, I want to lose 10, maybe I can get to a certain number, that would be really great. But once I got to that number and I exceeded that loss, it really, sitting back and reflecting on it, it was really the journey getting there was the real goal.
Yeah, absolutely.
So really refining that journey so that I could turn it around and help others was my ultimate goal. So is my goal.
Yeah, and so obviously that being a part of why you have the Easy Way business, and obviously having in the past you've worked with other people as well. So obviously you've got your own business now, but having worked with other people in the past, I'm curious as to some of the things that you've noticed that are that are different about working for yourself versus working with other people.
Working for yourself is so much more difficult. I guess I've been told, I guess I'm an A-type personality. I just keep going more. And when I'm actually working for somebody else, it's a really great thing because they get a really good employee, and I achieve for them. When I work for myself, I'm somewhat of an ideas woman. I want to do it all myself. Going back to being a janitor, I want to know each step of the way and each process as best I can to refine that. But working for yourself, I'm finding I can't do everything by myself. And, it's not about pride or anything like that, or, I can't do it all myself. And that's probably leading into probably the most frustrating thing about being in business for yourself. I sort of expected that I would create this lifestyle that I could still be mom and, good wife and, keep the house clean, cook gourmet meals, and really just do it within this space of time because I'm so bloody efficient working for somebody else. But I'm not. So here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And I guess what made you want to work for yourself, want to have your own thing?
For as long as I could remember, I've always wanted to work for myself. And I guess I have done that through my husband's business. We have another business as well. So with his partnership, I guess, or support of that other business, I thought it would be a lot easier to do what I'm doing now with Easy Way. And because I am so passionate about it, and I really do love helping people achieve their goal, whatever that goal is. And I just figured, I thought that my passion could achieve a lot more, but it's really, it's hard. Because passion pulls you in a lot of places at times, and it's not always a productive place. So yeah, if making money isn't my ultimate driver like it is for some people, it's really not. But yeah, it's the emotion and the passion behind it that pulls me every day. So that doesn't always make money.
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot of people listening and watching this at the moment that would feel very, very familiar feelings when they hear you say that. So what was something, I guess, in the early days, maybe before it became a business, what were some of the things that kind of made it feel to you like it went from being just an idea to becoming a business? What's something that happened or that you did?
Once we went into production, I started having the deadlines for things to be, it bumped up really dramatically. It went into production, and then probably 4 months later, the idea of production went in, and then I booked my very first show. And that was the fitness show back in 2018. And I'm sweating just thinking about it. The initial layout for that show was a lot. It was a lot of money to get a stall there. And that really sort of ate into the budget. Yep. And I didn't actually have the product produced when I put the money down for the show. So the pressure was on, and once it left me, I had no more control. Yet here I had paid a lot of money for this show and no product, and I'm going, how the hell? What are we gonna do? But we literally got our product done 2 days before the show, before we could set up for the show, and that, my God, I'm like sweating just remembering that. That pressure. It felt real. We had the, I had the shirts made of the 10th hour or 11th hour, whatever you call it, and put the uniform on. I'm like, geez, this idea is really, it's not an idea anymore. This is it.
Yeah. And what are some of the personal challenges, or what's a personal challenge that you think about when sort of thinking back about the business, that you faced working for yourself? Typically, I've heard all kinds of things from, relationship tension to friendships falling apart to running on no sleep, or, getting the bank account down to the last $5 and then all of a sudden they got their first sale. What's something that you kind of went through personally?
Yeah, all of the above, really. I mean, I don't think we've met a business owner that hasn't gone through that at some time. Yeah, just fear. I think just fear of failure has always been a really big one. And it is probably a lot more prominent than I like to let on that it is there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, fear of failure really holds me back, held me back, working on it.
And I think that's a really common fear amongst business owners, especially when they first start, because it's nice and safe to work for somebody else. You can just turn up at 9 o'clock and do the work that you have to do, and then leave at 5, and you don't have the pressure or the burden maybe of worrying about what happens in that business after you leave. Whereas people that run their own business have to be mindful of that, have to think about their business like from the moment they wake up until the moment they go to sleep, in some degree anyway. And so that, especially when you're first starting, that fear of failure is kind of, it's always just like hovering over.
Yeah, I guess it's really difficult as well. I mean, working for yourself, there's that lack of connection with others as well. So you can kind of wrap yourself in a little bubble, really. And that can be a good thing sometimes, but mostly it can be a really bad thing. So, and I think right now with the current situation, we're all finding that, the lack of personal connection with others, with strangers, is with business people that you're working with, I mean, can really be an unproductive thing. So yeah, then that fear of failure then just it becomes more rampant, quickly, So yeah, it's not for the faint-hearted working for yourself, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I think at the same time, though, I think you learn things about yourself and what you're capable of far more than you would working for somebody else. When it's all on the line for you, or when you're the one that has to make that difficult decision, you find out things about yourself, or you realize that you're capable of more than you thought you were capable of, especially when you allow that fear to dictate how you feel about yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
And what's something that you do to take care of yourself? When you need a break, when you need some self-care, what's something that works for you?
The gym is my self-care. I make sure I go regularly. I stick to my schedule, and really, really do make it happen, regardless of what's happened or hasn't happened or whatever. So yeah, I make that my staple. Without that, I would probably, I don't know, let's not go there.
And how important is it for you to be around other business owners?
Extremely important. Every time I connect with another business, other like-minded people, my productivity just goes through the roof. My ideas are start coming back. I get that boost that I need. I feed off them, they feed off me. It's it's two-way street. So again, going back to that connection is important, very important.
Absolutely. I would 100% agree with that. I think in my own business, going along to a professional networking group every week that I've paid to be part of means that not only am I invested in, the success of my business, but most importantly, I'm invested in the success of other people's businesses and in myself by being there and being open to listen and learn from other people.
Yeah.
Dennis, your husband, I've said, is a regular feature on this podcast without him ever being here, because either I mentioned something I've learned from him, or a couple of episodes, somebody else mentioned things that they'd learned from him as well. And I think that's, it's great that I certainly know that just having been around people like Dennis and other people like him that have got a lot more experience than me in terms of running a business, it's been huge for my own learning.
Well, he's got to get his ideas from somewhere, right?
That's right. Goes home, gets the ideas, then brings them out to everybody else.
Yeah.
So if you had to do all this again, what would you do differently?
Oh man. I probably would have started sooner, and I would have, would have, says I've stopped, but I'm not. I just have to push forward, even if it's scary. I just have to push forward, have a plan, and push forward. I can do it in every other aspect of my life. It's scary when it becomes a business. I just got to do it, which is probably, why I'm here today and having this interview. Is getting out of the comfort zone quicker and just doing more of it. The more you do it, the less it becomes scary. I just need to do more of it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that regular listeners or watchers of the podcast will be sick of me saying it, but I know back in my past life as a coach and manager in call centers, one of the things that I would say often to team members to try and challenge them to get out of their comfort zone a little bit was, that the most growth that you will have is in those uncomfortable places and situations. So you always want to go where it feels uncomfortable, because you become better at something.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And what do you think the best advice you've been given is?
Oh, the best advice. I've been given a lot. Do more, think less. I don't know. Just put yourself out there more.
And I think you even said something before when you were speaking, which like I made a note of because I thought it was great, where you said, have a plan and push forward even if it's scary.
Yeah.
Like that's like it probably seems really, really simple, but you know yourself when you're caught in the thick of things, trying to start a business, run a business, you don't think about having a plan always. It's often more about doing and keeping the plates spinning rather than pausing and saying, well, hang on a minute, I need to think about how I'm going to keep all these plates spinning rather than just spinning them.
Yeah, in the past I've had business coaches and mentors, and I think we all need somebody of authority to help us in one way or another. And I've never really put a big emphasis on 90-day plans, or I wouldn't just go out and do a 90-day plan by myself for fun, because that's not fun. But any time I've actually done them, and I'm kind of old-fashioned. I like to write things down before I can, really process them. I go through my paperwork every now and then, and I pull out that 90-day plan, probably like 200 days later or something. I surprise myself every single time. Every single time I look at it, I've always achieved more than what I thought I had. And not everything is done on the list. That's, it's fair to say. But I have we can get ourselves into this, our own little mindset, and be it, you know, as positive as we possibly can. We don't really see it for what it is, but when we write it down on paper and look back on it, it seems to have eventuated. It's done. And yeah, so I guess maybe going back to the advice, I guess, you know, putting your ideas to paper a bit more, probably, and then reflecting on it within the 90 days rather than the 200 days, you know, for your own growth, mapping, planning.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really good advice. I think putting them on paper, put your ideas on paper, is really important. Because along the journey, whether it's in the beginning or in, you know, just, you know, years in, I think we often have ideas, and because we're in the middle of working on something, we don't write them down. And then we forget about them. So I think, yeah, absolutely, having them written down, or if you're a computer person, typing them down and setting a reminder.
Yeah.
Those things would be helpful. And changing gears a little bit and thinking about like advertising and marketing and your customers, how did you get your very first customer?
Well, like I said, we had the product made, and then we went down to the fitness expo, and really just went out there and just started talking. I've picked up a few customers from there. I've also made some really good business connections from there, which we still keep in touch with, and we make a plan to catch up regularly. You know, every couple of months we touch base, and we support each other through Instagram, and you know, I genuinely do use their products, you know, and my clients from there still do use EasyWay. So it was from there really, through just going out and talking about it and getting that connection.
And what's something that you do to make your customers feel special?
I'm a giver. I just, much to my business coach's disgust, I give things away. I try and value add to their purchase as best I can. I've even, you know, I write little handwritten notes, like the honest handwritten notes, not the computer generated handwritten note, and then you add that onto the invoice, handwritten note, 0. You know, no, I don't do that. I'll put in a little letter, or just something to motivate them, you know, be it a small sample of something else, or
That's awesome. I love the idea of handwritten notes. Anybody that has been around me when I've received something, I remember ordering a wallet at one point online. I saw this particular wallet. It was handmade, and so and it was just a small business of a couple of guys that had decided they wanted to make the perfect wallet because they hadn't been able to find one themselves, and so they were making them, and they were really cool. And so I ended up ordering one, and it arrived in the mail, and it had a handwritten note in there from them. And so I thought it really was like the difference. It made me think about them differently. And so like being in marketing myself, I know the value of a handwritten note is you know, is huge in terms of lifetime value and that kind of thing. But I think that if you're writing handwritten notes just like you are, it has to come from the heart. It has to be genuine, like the way that you're doing yours. You can't write a handwritten note feigning interest in somebody's life or their goals. I think you have to be genuine about that. You have to really, really care. Tony Robbins, I know, like, this is going back to like the very first time I think I heard something from Tony, and this is maybe 22 years ago. And he said, there's no faking sincerity. So people will see through that a mile away, like they do a bad used car salesman. So I think handwritten notes are vastly undervalued these days when everything's digital.
Yeah, No, I agree.
So what's some marketing that you did for Easy Way where you sort of went, this is going to be huge, this is going to be amazing, we're going to sell thousands of tubs, it's going to be incredible, and then it didn't quite go that way?
I haven't been too adventurous in my marketing, to be honest, to be very clear. I guess my website, I thought once I put up a website and I make it nice and clean, or if I added, really nice pictures of product that we've made with them, that kind of thing, I thought maybe, this would, amp up sales and we would just, kick them in there, but no, no, the website, many hours are spent on that website, and, lots of flying around ideas, and the website itself hasn't really generated much, and it's a constant work in progress, to be honest. It's been one of my biggest expenses to date for marketing, with not a lot of return as such. And my attempts at doing Facebook marketing as well, I think, have let me down. I think we've had a few conversations about this. Yep. Again, going back to me wanting to do everything myself is probably, kicking myself in the butt a little bit. But yeah, I mean, look, these are interchangeable things. So I just have to get my motivation back and, get back out there and get on the horse, I guess. So yeah.
And on that point as well, around learning how to do things yourself, personally, I don't have any problems at all with people wanting to learn how to do their own marketing, their own advertising, because I think it's really important that you understand the fundamentals, the basics of what goes into those things, because ultimately at some point your business will get to a place either because you're so busy or because you want the business to go to a new level, in that you will or our audience will decide that they need to pay somebody to do it for them. And at that time, it's important that you know those basics, because there's a lot of people out there that say they do great at this or wonderful at that, and they're getting millions of dollars of results or whatever. And those are great stories. But unfortunately, in my industry, I hear plenty of stories about people that have spent thousands and thousands of dollars on stuff that had little or no impact. And I think a lot of that is because they often go into those things with the best intentions of like trusting somebody that they think will do it right, will have their best interests at heart. But unfortunately, like any industry, there are people out there that are just out there to get some money, and because they don't know enough about what this person's doing for them, it's easy to get trapped in that situation. So I think in your case, obviously, it's great that you've been doing some of that yourself, because it gives you the skills to know, well, I've tried it and it went well, or it didn't go as expected. That doesn't matter. The fact that you know the process is really important.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what's something that maybe went the other way? So something that you thought, well, it'd be nice if this works, but I don't really expect a lot from it. And then you got a better return than you'd hoped.
Definitely face-to-face for me is where I can connect with people. That's the best way. I am passionate and authentic, and I do really and that shines through. So I guess I'm hesitant to put things on social media sometimes, because I don't want to be added to that group of influencers, I guess, that are fake and just putting out the good booty shot or the, we know what they do. I know, I see you.
We're
Yeah, so
coming for you, Jen Selter.
I hesitate from doing that kind of online marketing because I do really want connection with people, because when I go back and I take a step back, into those shoes that when I was 20 plus kilos heavier, I lacked connection to myself, to others. So I see its real importance to connect with people. So yeah, I really do enjoy doing, tastings and events. And you just never know. Like I really honestly try to go into every situation not expecting an outcome. It's great if I make sales, great, good. But I want to help somebody. I don't want a one-off sale. I really don't. And, I know a lot of people who have bought one time and not returned for the sale for whatever reason. I think a lot of them are just doing it to help support me, the little person. But I really don't want that. I want people to actually see value in the product for themselves and use it. That's what I want, And I do genuinely just want to help them achieve whatever that goal is for them. So a lot of times people have reached out to me through Instagram, and we just talk. We just talk about their journey, what they can trim off, how they can, how to help manage their meal situation a little bit better. It's conversation. I'm not in there to, unfortunately, I don't have it in me to sell every single time I talk to somebody. I just don't. Those interactions that I have with tastings and things like that are quite enlightening, I guess, and something that I really enjoy doing. Recently, a few months ago, I was a speaker at an event, and just the connections that I made from that were really good, really nice.
Yeah, I would say, and I remember this very well, that I think the very first time that we met was at a workshop that I ran around Facebook marketing and the things that you can do yourself for free to help your business. And so I completely appreciate where you're coming from in that, that's something that I haven't done a lot of recently. And I actually really miss it. I enjoy getting out there and talking to business owners and helping them come up with ideas, or, feeling like often when they think about things like Facebook or, any social media or any marketing that they do themselves, they think of it as a chore. And the other thing that they always think about is that nobody's going to be interested in this and what I do. And everybody thinks that because it's what they do. So they're not as interested in it anymore because they do it all the time. But the reality is, we all want to see that. We all want to see, what's happening behind your business. And it doesn't matter, whether you've got a product like Easy Way, or you're a sandblaster, or you're a bookbinder, or you're a business coach, or whatever it is. There are parts of your business that are in the background that we don't get to see. And that's the stuff that we really want to. And, I joke about it all the time that it's the reason that the Kardashians have had like 15 seasons. Like, we whether we admit it or not, we like seeing the behind the scenes of things. And I think it's really important for business owners to embrace that part of their business, the stuff that, it's great that a car turns up broken and then it goes back fixed and you can go, I fixed the car. But people really want to see is the bit in between. How did you fix it? What did you do? What was the process like? What tools did you use? Did you have a situation where you were using a wrench and it broke halfway through, or the head came off a nut and you couldn't get it out? You had to screw it out, or like these kind of things are really interesting to people. And
it was funny. A couple weeks ago, I posted my very first video. Oh, maybe it was my second, but it was my first video in a while, let's say. And at the moment I'm prepping for a comp. So I have a specific meal plan, and it's getting quite boring. So I decided, no, I'm going to make these protein bowls. I'm going to do it well within my meal plan. And I on the very first take, it just didn't work. And it's funny. It is really funny. And it is who I am behind the scenes. It's who I am every day. And put some funny music to it, and it's gone gangbusters. Like, people are going nuts and messaging me, and you know, the views to my page and things like that. Like, that's been the biggest one so far, and it was something that I said, no, I'm gonna just post it regardless, you know. And it's been good. You know, people get to see a little bit more of me, and that is behind the scenes, the blender going off and the juice going in, and just, you know, the protein balls turning out like mush, and you know, that's just me. And I hope I know you guys will see more of that, you know. So and that's part of letting go of the fear of business, I guess, and remembering that we're humans at the end of the day, and there's no such thing as being perfect. And you know, when we do let go of that, that's when the real magic happens, I guess. And I have to remind myself that daily. And you know, as I'm scrolling through my Insta page and things like that, and seeing all these perfect fitness people, you know, it's just, that's it. We're just people trying to relay our message, and our messages were real, and we want to help people.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's something, I know you've mentioned Instagram a few times today, so this is probably your answer, but what's the most valuable free tool that you've used to either promote or create for your business?
Yeah, look, Instagram is a good one. I wouldn't say it brings in the sales as much if a business is really focused on sales, because sales comes down to a connection. So wherever you're making your connections, I think, is probably the best way to continue doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think things like, you know, MailChimp is a really good one. It's free. It's relatively easy to use, and it'll give you the tools to create some more content once you get a mailing list, and then you can, you know, make it once and then resend it. That way, that's a really good one. I think there's an app called Vicus that I've used, where it puts 10 and 15 seconds of video together in a funny little flip, and you know, you can do different things with it. There's a paid version of that, of course, but I've used that one several times, and I just have some fun with it. Again, it's just going back to the fun, get back to fun.
Yeah.
iMovies is a free one as well that I've just recently done, and it's pretty user friendly. So yeah, just having fun with it, and you know, shaking it up a bit, you know.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So we're in the home stretch here. Only a couple of questions left, and then you can get off the hot seat. But this question actually comes from our previous guests, Sam and Aaron Shedlock. And the question is, what is holding you back right now?
What's holding me back? Just, the fear of, well, the comfort zone, really. Yeah. I have to put myself out there more. Not that I feel I'm not authentic, but I just have to just show my vulnerabilities a little bit more. And yeah.
Okay. And what's the next big thing for you and an easy way?
Oh, the next big thing, well, once we get rid of this virus business, I'm hoping to get the Masters League, the CrossFit Masters League, back on, and be having a stall there. So that's probably the next big event that I'm really looking forward to, for the business. And personally, just my comp in September. So yeah.
And what's the best advice you can give our audience?
The best advice. get out of your comfort zone. It is such a freeing experience. I know it's a bit, just keep pushing yourself farther. Keep making your goals. Stick to the goals. Stick to them. Little by little. It doesn't have to be perfect. And you just got to keep the consistency with it. Just keep consistent. Don't be too hard on yourself. Start with one thing a week, that you can manage, master it, then move on. Give yourself a break. Gosh, advice. How much time do we have?
And so what is one question that you'd like me to ask the next guest on the next show?
The next question.
It can be about anything. So it can be like a question about the personal life. It can be about business. It can be about education. It can be anything. Yeah.
Are you eating enough protein daily?
Let's do it.
If the answer is no, I can help them out.
Well, I'll preface that by saying where it came from, so then they might make the connection themselves too. So if our audience would like to learn more about you and EasyWay, they should head to easyway.com.au, which is EZYWHEY.com.au. Or obviously they can check out EasyWay on Instagram, which is just @EasyWay. Fran is a prolific Instagrammer, always loads of content, and you certainly won't be disappointed with the quality or the entertainment factor of Fran's content, that's for sure. So
I'm going to put together a video soon. It's going to be fun.
And to close the show, as always, I like to use a quote from your industry. So in this case, we're talking about kind of health and fitness, and so this one comes from a very unlikely source. Some might think in Khloe Kardashian, but she says, "Fitness is not about being better than someone else. It's about being better than you used to be."
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
So you've been listening or watching the Paperclip podcast presented by BSDA. We have one clear goal: help you to become bigger. If you'd like to learn more about growing your business, head to bsda.com.au. Fran, thanks very much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
A pleasure. And for everyone else, until next time, keep growing.